It all started one night. The murderer Jeffrey Woods murdered his parents and his beloved brother Liu Woods. Jeff stopped being the boy who was kind and became a soulless monster that had a pure desire to kill. But seriously, how did his brother Liu survive after receiving multiple cuts and stab wounds all over his abdomen? Liu survived the attack by his brother. Barely, his heart felt like bursting from the effort, but Liu continued with the strength from his desperation to live and go to Jeff. Then everything went black and he fainted. It took a long time for Liu to wake up. He was in a fairly lit room, full of tubes and medicine. He could not speak, could not eat. Liu was fed through tube, breathing through an artificial lung. He could barely make out. He was just listening to a nurse talking to a doctor. She said this patient may not survive. He needs many transplants. His left lung collapsed. His heart is very broken and lungs are failing. It is almost impossible for him to survive. Those words, they were the proof that Liu had survived what had happened. Then came the day when the transplants continued. Liu could not talk, but he was quite sedated. He could not express his joy at that time, so he saved it for when he recovered. The nurse that came and said, "Hi, I'm Susan. I wish you the best of luck. You're very strong. Always survived accidental murder. I personally wanted to take care of you, because I admire your strength. I wish you well when you leave the hospital." She kissed his cheek and blushed. Liu could not deny she was a very beautiful girl, but he did not know if he would survive this. It was time, the time which fate would decide whether Liu would live or die. The doctor told him that a young strong boy who survived this long was most likely to survive. They put the mask on and Liu slept, but would he feel what they did to him? At that moment, Liu then felt a cold blade pierce him in the side of the heart. The first cut was the most painful, then something opened his skin. The pain was more intense with each passing second. Each cut was more painful than before, but most painful was when they started cutting his heart and get it out of his body. That moment was just the beginning of Liu's torture. Hours of excruciating pain. Every cut, every part of Liu that replaced, each suture, all the pain through his body destroyed what little sanity he had left, until it shattered. Liu spent days in that bed, unable to move, unable to speak, just listening to the voice of the nurse, Susan. She was with him day and night, talking to him, telling him to resist. She wanted Liu alive. Liu wanted to know the truth, and he hoped he could talk to Susan and she could hear his voice. A week passed and she came more often, came and sang and read, but one day before Liu could move his body, Susan said, "I want you to wake up." She kissed him after finishing that sentence, and Liu started to feel his body, and managed to open his eyes and saw her, crying with joy to see that he was awake. He then said, "Hi Susan, I'm Liu Woods." She was astonished, and said, "Really, you're the brother of Jeff Woods? He was here, well, he was very ill. I found out he went crazy and killed his family. How is it that you survived, Liu?" I also found out that 3 days ago he kidnapped a girl and burned her alive with bleach and gasoline, then escaped from there and has not been seen. But in the house, or what remains of it, we have not found more than 2 bodies. They say that she survived but did not know what happened to the bodies. In the room where his brother slept, or where you were sleeping, they found written in blood on the wall, "Go to sleep," and the word "smile" on the bathroom mirror. I very much regret the death of your parents, seriously, and could not imagine that you would ever want to return to that place. You want to sleep over in my house for a while. Well, when you get out of recovery.